Cool. Only 20 minutes late. Corey, that's awesome. Sorry, I don't know if you heard that, Corey, but I just kicked off the recording. Well, guys, I appreciate everyone, introducing themselves. I want to do that anytime we have someone new, because I think that's extremely worthwhile, right? Like I want this, even if it gets bigger, to be like a very intimate group and have people actually know the other people in it. For those of you guys who were not on the last call, so our first call, we talked about like the importance of goal setting, right? And I try to think before the calls of like, what's something that we can leave with, in these calls. And I think, Mike, you in the very first call, we're talking about how from your ayahuasca experience, you realize that you want to make room for feeling more in this world, more than just doing, right? And we left that first call with kind of a challenge, if you will, to figure out what we want to make room for in this life. And some people were meditating, some people are running, some people are reading, eating healthier, relationships, work. We had all sorts of good answers. Last week, there was a theme in every single person that kind of shared about their goals. And it was that everyone made progress. So just by setting a goal, that's all that at least we talked about doing. Everybody made progress, and every single person did not achieve their goal entirely. So that got me to think that, this is a group of, I would say, some very productive people, but maybe, could be overly ambitious, right? And I love this. I love the quote unquote equation for happiness. I've heard that happiness equals reality minus your expectations. And I recently, I sent it out in an email to everyone. I recently wrote like a blog about this because I set myself up every single day to fail. I basically say there's 24 hours in a day. Well, here's 24 hours of shit I'm going to jam into this 24-hour box. And if anything goes not even wrong, different, right? I just had a call with Matt. Randy called me. I had a call with the CEO of TRX. I tried to get, he is also on Navy SEAL 6, and he was part of the Osama raid, and he was going to be the guest on this call. He called me an hour ago and said that he fucked up the timing and he couldn't make it. So we ended up talking for like the whole hour. That wasn't part of my plan, right? So now it's not a bad thing. It was actually an amazing call, and he's making a terrific introduction for us at our agency. But I think it's really important to set proper expectations, and that's how we left last call, was to temper your expectations. Doesn't mean like bring them down. Don't shoot for the stars at all, but almost more not from like a goal standpoint, but on what you think you can do, like from a timing standpoint. And I don't know if this leads in well to Rob, what I know you said you wanted to share this call, but I always like to highlight some people during this call, and Rob and Christian said they wanted to share a couple things. And Rob had a pretty big month, I would say, with what he set out as a goal and achieved in the last 30 days, just since we spoke last. So, in the theme of setting, still reaching and setting good goals, but having great expectations, I kind of want to kick it to you, Rob, if you're cool with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks a lot, Sean. So yeah, this was a fun journey for me, guys. So maybe 2 months ago or so, Sean had reached out about running a half marathon. Well, I had started off in considering a 10K. Sean, of course, challenged me to reach to a half marathon. Sean was out there running a 50K with one of my other good friends. Now, for perspective, I grew up playing sports. I played football, I played basketball. I still regularly play basketball 2 or 3 times a week, but I was not a runner. Didn't sound fun, didn't look interesting, just never did it, other than playing basketball and stuff like that. So this was really a goal that kind of came out of nowhere. Not on my radar, not really sort of on this path that I had thought or planned about. But I've also been working to challenge myself and try to do things that are hard, and not just kind of be in the comfort zone all the time. So I took it on, and it was a bit surprising to say the least. So at first I kind of set out like, so this is a trail course, there's a lot of hills and whatnot. So thought was 13 miles, I can get to the point where I can power walk or hike that, and I think the benefit of that was it was something I could get my head around. It was something I could believe that I could do. And I had to put my ego aside a little bit. Sean's out running a 9-minute mile on a 50K, and here I am going to power walk a half a marathon. But I had to swallow that and go, hey, that's a hell of a lot more than I've done before. Like, that's progress. And that's a benefit. And I have to say, throughout the journey over the weeks, as I was putting in the work and doing the work towards my goal, it just kept getting easier. And then I could start doing more. I progressed faster and started running. And, once we got to the half marathon, I ran more probably than I ever had in my life, simply by just taking a goal, putting it down, breaking it down, and do the work. So something I want you all to consider about that is, what's out there that's not even on your radar? Like, keeping an open mind, looking for those opportunities. Groups like this are great. Obviously, we're all similar, like-minded guys and girls, and having those people around you and seeing what they're doing and keeping an open mind to that stuff really helped me out a lot. The benefits of this, my resting heart rate at night has already dropped pretty dramatically. My body fat dropped. My mental toughness was definitely increased. And you're out in a trail, you're 2 miles in, and you're still working and pushing yourself. It really does something for your mental and then your spiritual side too. I just felt an overall great benefit from doing this. A few other things I'd like to say around it is having an accountability partner really helps. I know we all probably have varying levels of like our self-motivation and discipline, but having that accountability partner, I had a team where I'm sharing my workouts and what we're doing, and that helped me a lot. It was, I know I have to share my results. So if I don't do anything, or if I do it less than what I want, I have to own it. And I think when you think about that and you take pride in yourself, most of us don't want to do that, right? We don't want to say, nah, skipped it this week. It's not going to happen. So I think that was a big benefit. And then, like I was kind of saying earlier, just having like a reasonable goal, something to start. Like I'm an engineering background, and I'm an analytical person. So sometimes I struggle from having this perfect workout at a perfect time and having all these things in my head. And it's like, it doesn't matter. Like, just go do something, like set a goal, like get some progress, get started. And once you start getting that momentum, it just keeps building and building. And again, I'm just shocked how far and how quick I was able to progress. After the race, some people asked about it, and I told them, and it's funny because the common response is, well, I'm not a runner, I could never do that. And it's like, I know, I was there 2 months ago, never even thought about this. So again, I just encourage you guys to keep your open mind, like, of what else is out there, what can be some goals that you've never even thought of, and some areas that you can stretch yourself. And overall, I'm just really grateful for this experience. So I really appreciate all the support, Sean. For sure, you're a big help on this. So appreciate it.
Appreciate you, Rob. And look at Rob coming across the finish line. Rob, I just pulled up our
I
pic.
gotta see it. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Let's
Nice.
go.
I love it.
Yo, Rob set out. He called me. He goes, talking about expectations. Rob goes, you know what? I know I can't run it, Sean, but if I power hike fast as shit, I'm going to do under 3 hours. My man got 2 hours and 26 minutes because he realized he could run for the back half of it. So, Rob, I think that's awesome, dude. I appreciate you too. Like, I was, and you were like so consistent with your training and like you sending me those. There were days like I was tired at the end of the day and you're like, walked 11 miles today. And I'm like, I'm going to go fucking run just so I could text him something because, I need that. So,
Yeah, it goes both ways, man. I appreciate
oh,
it.
of course, man. Dude, totally appreciate that. Thanks for sharing. And I love the way you talked about like, just like opening your eyes to things that like you might not even be open to. Like, I mean, Rob said it, and not to go on you, Rob, but Rob was absolutely not a runner. He was like, I think I ran a 5K 18 years ago. Like, and then he crushed us. And now he's like, Sean, do you think I should like go further and try to run a marathon or just try to do a half marathon, decrease my time? Like, and it doesn't mean you have to turn into a runner or turn into whatever you do, but I'll steal this from, Matt. I know, Matt, you always say like, how are you gonna know you don't like something until you try it, right? Rob tried it and I think found that he liked it, right? And so way to be open-minded, dude. I don't know if anyone has any questions or, feedback on that.
What'd you find to be the toughest hurdle to get over?
Ego, sort of. I'm running. It was everything I do with Sean, right? You're always like, man, this guy's a beast, So just putting that away and like not worrying about that. Just knowing, hey, this is where I'm at. This is what my goal is, and like just focusing on that. And I have to say, even when I was done, Sean showed, I kind of crushed my goal. Kind of goes back to our last meeting where I was still like, man, I could have did better. I could have gone faster. And then again, recognizing that and saying, like what Sean started this with, the expectations thing. And it's like, no, you can be happy, man. You did well. Like,
Yeah.
So it's funny how I thought it was very interesting how that was kind of some of my first thoughts around it. Like, man, and part of it was, the 10-year-old walking by me or running by me at the end, this 10-year-old kid. And I was like, damn. But again, I just took the ego away and was like, that's cool for him. I'm on my goal and, I'm doing it. So.
Shit, dude.
It's awesome. We can't compare ourselves with Sean in the running category.
Man, Sean,
good thing Jason's on this call and Matt's being quiet.
So you guys, Sean took.
I'm cooking right now, dog.
Sean was second place. I think he was 18 seconds behind first place for his category. So Sean did awesome. I was really, really impressed. 9-minute mile. To give you guys examples or some info, it's like 1,500 feet of plus minus. So there is some serious hills. So Sean's 9-minute average is really good. But it's also cool just to be around that crowd and sort of see.
And the energy was definitely
high. Like just it's like these groups, right? You surround yourself with those people and just really pays a lot of benefits.
Ultra runners are a special fucking breed, my friend.
Yes.
It's a small community, but it's definitely a special breed. And dude, you should and kind of like piggyback on what you said, Robin. Like, dude, no one is a real runner, but everyone on this call has the innate ability to do it. Right. So it's just like what you did, though. You put yourself in that environment. You're like, all right, well, let me see if I put one foot in front of the other and see what happens. And dude, I say it all the time, like ordinary people can do extraordinary things. And that's just the punchline. And everyone in this group, like you're special in your own way. And like, even the having like that little audacity to even attempt it, I swear, like that's half the fucking battle of life is just trying shit like that. And I'm sure, Rob, we'll go on a run very soon, my friend.
Heck yeah.
We're going to run very soon.
Yeah, I would like to add to that about running. So I've been running nowhere near a marathon, but I've been running a mile every morning, starting off my day. And I train cardio every single day. I train HIIT. So now at the point where I'm running this longer distance, it's not necessarily for a cardio workout, but it's a great mental workout. I call it a mental fortitude workout because as I'm running, my whole body is saying, stop, 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 right? But my mind is telling me, keep going. And one of the inner dialogues I'm having is like, man, I'm a retired athlete. I don't need to be doing this. But it's a great muscle to train where the next time I don't want to do something outside of running, I have that mental fortitude to keep pushing and get the job done.
Dude, I think that's what it's all about. First of all, I just dropped in Brendan's TikTok. You guys should all follow him. He just drops bombs all day long.
Appreciate it.
So that's a little plug there.
Appreciate you guys.
But I think the important thing, like you said, like one, it's for the mental, but I once heard that like intelligence was being able to learn something in your one discipline, right? Mike likes martial arts. Phil was a kicker, right? Like whatever you're doing, and if you can extrapolate that learning and apply it elsewhere, that's kind of what it's all about. Cool. Thanks for sharing, Rob. Christian, bro.
That's
I know
sick, Rob.
I know you said you wanted to share a little something, man.
Yeah. So kind of going, I mean, this kind of plays into, I don't know, a lot of what everyone else has spoken about and kind of gone back and forth about. But I just saw Sean a couple weeks ago, actually. And we were kind of talking, and like we hadn't really spent a lot of time together in the last like few years, like a couple, like hanging out a few times like in passing. But one of the things that like we were doing, because we used to work together on Milwaukee Tool, same with Rob, but one of the things that we were kind of just chatting about was just like what just kind of like, reminiscing of like what it was like working in that corporate environment. And then like since then we both have taken that jump and kind of gotten away from that. So he asked if I wanted to kind of speak on that a little bit, and obviously more than happy to. So for you guys that don't know, I used to work for Milwaukee Tool, but actually almost 5 months ago, like to the day, or 5 years ago to the day, because I left at like the 1st of August. So I would have honestly maybe quit like on a Friday in the middle of July. But I left Milwaukee Tool to move to Chicago and started off as kind of, we were going to operate as like more of a screen printing business here in Chicago, serving more like higher end clientele. And then over time, that's really transitioned and kind of evolved. Now we're more of a design studio, and we do all of production as well. So basically everything from design and concept all the way through production, manufacturing, fulfillment, shipping. Like literally brands bring us ideas. They bring us, whether it's like an event, whether it's a collection, brands, artists, agencies, anybody will bring us ideas basically. And then basically it's any part of the process. So some clients it's just design work, some clients it's design and production. They handle fulfillment. Some of it's, just production fulfillment. But we basically operate as kind of like a one-stop shop to be able to work with and provide any of these brands with just high quality apparel, production, manufacturing. That's like really what our niche is making sure that everybody gets taken care of in that realm. So it's not like a family reunion t-shirts and stuff like that. A lot of places are just trying to spin their press super fast. Efficiency is like the name of the game with a lot of places. Just getting print out the door as quick as possible, lowering your costs as much as possible. And we kind of operate in almost the exact opposite way as that. Everyone that we work with is, they might be selling, it might be $70 t-shirt. They're not that interested in being in the same queue as Chicago Police Department t-shirts. They need a different attention to quality. They need a different attention to detail. They need different quality. They need different sourcing and resources and communication surrounding it. And that's kind of like where we fit in. And honestly, how we end up getting most of our clients. Like we don't really do any sales. Everything is kind of just word of mouth, referrals. And we just kind of have been able to build our business from honestly the ground up. Neither of us, me, my partner G, who I've known for close 20 years now. We go back forever, but neither of us were like super involved in the art community here. He was an engineer for AT&T. And so like we just really started at the ground floor, and kind of like some of you guys who have just, you know, left corporate places or left other jobs and kind of out pursuing these new ideas and new spaces. That's where we were 5 years ago. And I mean, that's honestly still where we are too. It's always a grind. I don't know. There's like, it's definitely different now. We've definitely built it to a place to where like it's a lot more sustainable. We have a lot higher end projects that have real budgets around them, and we're able to actually like make some money. But none of that would have been possible without a lot of that kind of the hard work and the grind of the last 5 years of just building it up, doing people solids, doing favors here and there, making sure that we take care of people and building up on a lot of smaller orders into a place where we're able to do stuff at a lot larger scale.
Christian, dude, that I appreciate you open up on that. And honestly, the theme for this call I want to talk about was priorities and being able to like set them. And it's kind of interesting because some of us would have been like, okay, I'm gonna start like a clothing company. How can I crank out, you know, what's the maximum I could crank out, you know, at the highest profit, right? And just create a formula and like, cool, this is how I'll scale. How am I gonna bring in customers? And you clearly like, I mean, my perception is you look at it as an art, right? That you happen to get paid for. And by the way, Christian said he's working with some cool companies. I mean, he's working with Nike, the NBA, like the rapper Duckworth. I know Marty, you fuck with Duckworth. And he's working with some cool people, and it's like a total like creative expression. Yeah, man, I don't know. I personally find it a constant battle to like establish and then live by priorities.
Yeah.
And I mean like live by them. Everyone can say like, oh, like my family's important. It's like, really? Like you work 90 hours a week, you know, is your family important? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you're doing it, so I don't know. No, that's a big
when
thing.
It comes to priority, especially, it's like I think one thing that we have been super fortunate for is the ability that this gives us to be very flexible. And then just with that over time, like priorities have changed dramatically. So kind of at the beginning, a lot of the priority had to be just simply on finding work, making sure that we had orders coming in, getting outside of our comfort zone in that way. And because I'm not like a super salesy guy, like that's just not who I am. It rubs me the wrong way. Like I don't really operate that way. So getting outside of the comfort zone there. And then, so that had to be the priority. It's just making sure that we have work coming in, making sure that we're making the right connections, that we're focused on the business. And then, you know, other stuff has to be deprioritized, whether it is like relationships with like friends or girlfriends or people like that. Right. So that for 4 years, 4.5 years was like, that was like number one. That was always the priority. But now that we did prioritize that and we were able to grow and, you know, make, have a couple of projects that we're able to put some capital into our accounts and give us a little bit more flexibility. Now we can kind of change our priorities a little bit. So now we can focus and have a priority on building our infrastructure out, to now kind of tapping in with other artists, other graphic designers, tapping in with cut and sew manufacturers, tapping in with these other resources that now we can use to go. And now instead of pitching on $10,000 worth of a budget, now we can take the whole $100,000 worth of the budget for the event, because we're able to handle all of the logistics of it. We're able to do and have resources for all of the manufacturing, for all of the design, for all of the creative. Like now we're able to scale our business in ways that weren't necessarily possible before. So now that's priorities have shifted there. And then also with some of that freedom and time is being able to kind of reprioritize ways that, you know, we find happiness. So now if it's super nice on a Saturday afternoon and we have the luxury of, okay, I don't have to sweat in front of my computer. I can go, it's super nice outside. Let's go play basketball. Let's go do whatever. I don't have like a boss breathing down my neck of like, oh, you got to make sure you get this done. You have to make sure like whatever, like we're going to hit all of our deadlines. Like that's never a question. But like, if we're not super pressed on something, like, dude, the Cubs play at 110 and the tickets are $20. Let's go. You know, like now that can be your priority of being able to kind of live your life a little bit more and kind of have a little bit more fun, have a little bit more bring a little bit more happiness into it, kind of figure out, you know, what is it every day that you want to do that makes you happy while also like still prioritizing growing the business. And, you know, being able to do that gives us a little bit more freedom.
Dude, that's awesome. Congrats on getting it there. And
yeah, because I mean, it's still obviously not even close to like where it needs to be. Like we're not, you know, it's not like we're rich or like loaded or anything like that, but it's a place to where it's like, dude, if the overhead is still relatively low and then we have enough capital in the bank that's like, dude, I don't have to worry about like, I got to get 10 jobs in this month to make sure we cover our nut. Like, it's fine. We can focus on bigger stuff. We can turn stuff down if we need to, if we don't want to do it. If it doesn't make sense for what we do and kind of where we're at, where like a lot of times in the past, you know, it doesn't really matter what it is. Like you got to take that job on just because you don't have any flexibility. And then that all of a sudden, like that time is such a big thing, right? Time is such a huge factor in anything that we do, in anything that anybody does, to where it's like you only have so much like mental capacity in a certain day, and that's part of pushing and becoming uncomfortable, and like that helps grow that capacity of just what you're able to do. But it's like if we're printing for 12 hours a day, 15 hours a day, like I'm not gonna have the energy or like the want to come home and like create anything for any like personal projects, or just because I want to. Like you're tired, like, you're drained, like you got to do it again tomorrow. It's 95 degrees in the shop. Like I'm not about to go do whatever I want because you're just tired. So now like your priorities can kind of change a little bit. Be able to have a little bit more flexibility, a little bit more freedom, focus on some other things.
For sure, man. And that's what like I was thinking about. I've been thinking about, it feels like the whole month was priorities, right? So I think when we think about priorities, it's like there's a book called Thinking in Systems that has a quote that says the goal of a system, and everything's a system, right? You as a human are a system. You have many systems within your body, nervous system, cardiovascular system. Your business is a system. Within your business, you have different systems. But the goal of any system is not like its stated goal, but it's like it's the most likely outcome of its actions, right? And that's kind of what I took that to heart a little bit. Like, you know, saying like what I said before, like people are like, oh yeah, my family's important, but you spend all your time not with your family. So it's like it's nice that you want that in the future. But yeah, I'd love to open it up to anyone that feels like they have anything to add in that realm about priorities. Really, my two questions, and I don't know if anyone has other questions, but mine too would be like, how do people find their priorities? And then how do you live by them? Like, how do you actually like implement them? I don't know if anyone has anything to share on that.
I'll add,
Yeah.
talking about priorities. So
Yeah, Mike,
recently-
we couldn't hear you. Sorry, Mike started chatting. You're not on mute, bro, but I can't hear you. Sorry, Brandon.
You want me to hop in?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Sorry about that. You could hop in. It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, no, Mike, it sounds like you're about to drop some sauce. I'll let you go.
Okay. Anyway, I'm Mike. Sorry, I was muted. I had a whole different setup with mics for another podcast. So I hadn't. Anyway, I digress. So talking about priorities, right? I find that in the beginning, my priorities were really based off of how I grew up, right? What my dad cared about, what my mom cared about, what these sorts of society things that we should care about, whether it's money, whether it's success, whatever that might be. And I found myself living, honestly, someone else's life. Someone else being like a culmination of all the different people that have affected, affected who I was. And it wasn't until I really started to work on my heart, started to really feel what I wanted and what I actually cared about in this life, that things started to shift. So we held this, my partner and I, Eileen, held this thing called like a manifesting workshop. And for those of you that already work in manifestation or, aren't familiar with it, all it is bringing thought and feeling into whatever you're looking for in your future. So there's like, ritualistic practices you can do, but really all it is thought, feeling, see it, and then embody it. Those are like the steps. So as far as priorities go, what I found is first I'm going to feel it. I'm like, I sit with myself. I sit in like a moment of whether it's silence or just like thought patterns, sit in those thoughts. And then how I apply that is I feel it. Does it feel good somatically? The thing that I'm looking to prioritize, does it feel good in my body? And then from there, I envision, okay, what my priority is okay. So say it's working out, it's going to the gym, going to the boxing gym 5 times a week. That is a priority for me. I'm going to envision myself. I'm going to say, okay, that's what I'm going to do 5 times a week, 1 hour each session. I'm going to be working on X, Y, Z. And then to embody it or to do it is to like go and do the actual activity. So like the process that I sort of prioritize things in my life have a lot to do with how they make me feel, not only when I'm thinking about doing them, but also while I'm doing them. And whenever I get the results, what that looks like. So often do we manifest shit in our life where we get to this certain milestone and we're like, okay, what's next? Like, that's not as good as I thought it was going to be, right? We're in this mentality because we live in a society that is goal oriented, that is like product oriented. When you can start to go through this process more often, you start to fall in love, as we all know, with the process. It doesn't matter where you're going as much as where you are. And so in the priority level, like that's kind of like how I work through it. I don't know if I understood the question, if that's like what you were looking for, but that's how I sort of prioritize and work through, making a list of things that I should be focused on versus stuff that just is noise in my life.
Appreciate that. And Mike, I don't know if you've had a chance to listen to this, but I'll send it to everyone. This is about 30 minutes of the best philosophy I've ever heard. I think a lot of people might be familiar with Bob Proctor and what he does with The Secret. Earl Nightingale is like the guy Bob Proctor kind of studied under, and this is it's very similar to I don't know, the foundations of a lot of what we hear around manifestation. So I appreciate that. Brendan, dude, hate to do this to you. Drop some sauce, but we don't have much time here.
Yeah, I'll keep it short. Just basically for me, so as I come into where I'm at in the journey right now, I just moved here.
Yo, oh, hey man, what's up? They delivered your package to my door.
One sec.
Ah, yeah. Is this you? The kids always ordering stuff on Amazon.
I think I clicked the link.
Yeah, well, thanks, man. Yeah, no problem.
Don't even
Oh, that's an ad. That's an ad because I wanted to check the video that you just sent. But basically, one of my priorities, I'm asking myself, who needs me? Because I like to serve others. That gives me purpose and drive. So who needs me? I'm gonna shift my priorities around them and serve them. So that's how I kind of deal with priorities. Who needs me?
I appreciate that. And what's the role of your social media? Because it's not related to your business at all, which is pretty cool. But it is, you are trying to serve people clearly.
Serve, connect. So with my social media on TikTok, I just share lessons that I've learned that's helped me navigate through this, through my life and through this world. And with that, I'm just trying to get people who connect with me, people who resonate with me, and then eventually down the line in a long-term vision, create a business around those supporters.
Love it. I love it. And while we're talking about priorities, I think, relationships. I mean, I know we all talk about relationships and community. A mutual friend that Christian, this is gonna be news to you, but a mutual friend of me, Christian Robs, Alex, this dude, great, in good shape, man, healthy, everything. I FaceTimed him the other day. I'm like, dude, I'm in Milwaukee. Like, let's get a beer. He had a pacer on his heart. He was in the hospital, lost like 80 pounds. And he looked horrible. And he got Lyme's disease, got rushed to the hospital. His heart stopped and he died for 8 seconds. And they like revved him back to life. And he's been hospitalized for like 13 days. And we were texting like 3 weeks ago about like trying to crush some bourbon on the weekend and play some golf.
Maybe?
No. Alex, Big Al from basketball. I don't even know if you.
Alex Davis, yeah.
I
Might
don't
not
know.
have. Alex was after Christian, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
After
seriously, I
Christian.
mean, fuck, that sucks.
Yeah. It was wild, and I don't know. Perspective's important, guys. And I found this out on the way to my ultra marathon, and the whole time like I was thinking about this. Like, it's literally like if I called, like I asked him to be in this group, right? Dude, he has a killer business. He should join. But it's like if like I called like anyone here and found that out, and it's just like, I don't know, it was crazy. So the reason I brought that up was I just missed a call from him. So everyone be grateful for every damn thing you have. Like I think that's super important. We're at the top of the hour. I want to be respectful of everyone's time. I'm going to start a group me. I don't know what that's going to take. Like if I really need anything from you guys, or since I have everyone's phone number, I can add them in quickly. All I'll say is if I shoot a text or an email out about it and you find value in that, if you get back to me kind of quick, that would make it easy. What I'd like everyone to do is think about their priority. I mean, again, these are all optional things, but like, if you guys feel so inclined, think about your priorities. Like, what the fuck matters to you? Share them with the group. And then, like I try to do, I'll try to group people based on like the feedback I get, right? Like, if someone's trying to dive into emotional state and I feel like someone else is like good at handling their emotions, I'll try to connect those people. I think it'll be great to, like I always say, try to connect over the phone, maybe once or twice through the month, meet someone new, dive deep with them, just throw the headphones in and take a fucking walk. We all have time for that shit. And that's, as far as priorities go, I think community, growth mindset, exercise, getting outside, like it's a good use of time right there. So I really appreciate it.
I'd like to offer something on that note, in the sense of community. Obviously, we're all kind of all over the United States. If you are like ever in the Los Angeles area, I live in Glendale, reach out, would love to like drop in. I have an ice plunge and a steam room at my place. Like, let's get it in. If you're ever looking to work in breath work, theta healing, like any sort of like energetic works or meditation, I offer virtual too. So I'll work with you virtually. I'm actually going to sit with Jess, not this weekend, but next weekend. So if anyone's ever interested in that, like feel free to hit me up. And
Rob and Phil, Mike's also starting a company around microdosing and how that could be like a healing medicine for you. And Rob, I'm hopefully going to get to your house by 2 today and pick some up. And Phil, we had a nice experience, but I think you guys would definitely, connect on that.
Yeah.
I took mushrooms this morning to play pickleball.
Fuck yeah.
Oh yeah, man.
Hey, Mike, I'll be in LA in a couple weeks, so I'll definitely hit you up, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
Side note, I didn't know you were boys with Devin Levesque. I bumped into him at the gym recently. But that's super dope, bro. We'll connect in LA though.
Yeah, sounds good, man. Sounds good.
Awesome, bro.
Guys, much love. See
Thanks,
y'all in
guys.
a month.
Yep. See ya.
Thanks for putting it together, Sean.